Good evening, viewers. Welcome to the digital edition of Garhwa Post. We have today one of the distinguished journalists from Northeast region, Mr. Nava Thakuria Sahab. We'll talk about the violence which is being done in Northeast, precisely in Manipur. So, welcome, sir. Welcome to the digital edition of the Garhwa Post.
Yes, thank you.
And I would like to know from the viewer perspective that why there is a violence in Northeast and what is the reason that this is being done for a longer period of time.
Okay, first, Manipur or Northeast India was not peaceful for the last 3 decades because of insurgency, because of
Hmm.
ethnic conflicts, because of uprising, and particularly because of identity politics. So
Hmm.
it may not be relevant in Delhi, Mumbai, or maybe your city, but identity politics is very, very important in Northeast India because we are a mix of ethnic groups and everybody wants the political space for their own people. So that is why the Ulfa wants Assam independent, some militant from Manipur wants independent Manipur. Nagas believe that they need a Naga homeland, or you can say Nagalim. So some tribal militants in Tripura, they want Tipra kind of independence. So it is related to the identity politics, and because uh, most of the state came to Indian political map after 1826. So before
Okay.
1826, we also not part of so-called Indian political kind of map. Though we are connected culturally to India from centuries back, but some people in Northeast India believe that they are actually forcefully being made Indian. So they want a separate identity, including the Manipuri. Manipuri has a three, you can say, major group. One is Meitei, who are mostly Vaishnav, Sanatan Vaishnav. Then
Hmm.
one is Naga, definitely, because Naga is mostly Christian, and Kuki, that we want to talk to about. The Kuki is a composite group of many small ethnic groups. So Kuki also mostly Christians. So there is another aspect, that whether it is a conflict between Hindu versus Christian, or is it because of the valley versus hills? Because if you go to the Manipur, Manipur is a land of hills, except the capital Imphal, that is the
Hmm.
valley. And
Hmm.
the Meitei people actually reside in Imphal, and they are dominant in education, in sports. If you talk about Mirabai, and all the players, athletes from Manipur, they have gone for Olympic, bring laurels to India. And even theater, you have heard Ratan Thiam, Kanhaila is a distinguished theater personality. Manipuri has a classical dance. India has around seven Margyon Nritya, and one of them is from Manipur. It's a small community, but they have contributed a classical dance from to Indian cultural mosaic. Then in
Hmm.
media, if you see
Okay.
that Manipur media is mostly dominated by Meitei. Kuki is somehow resident of the hills as well as Naga. So it's, you can say, also um, hill versus valley,
Hmm.
and it started with the ST status to Meitei. So
Okay.
Meitei is normally, so they have restriction in buying land in hill area.
Hmm.
So once Meitei, or you can say mainstream Manipuri, become ST, they can buy land anywhere in Manipur, and that is the
Hmm.
beginning of the trouble. That many Kuki people believe that because Meitei has advanced in education, they are rich, they are articulate people, they can come and grab their land. So it started from that. Even then, it started since
Hmm.
long back, because of Naga believe that we want to live in a separate country, including some parts of Myanmar. Same with the
Okay.
Cookies. Cookies also
Hmm.
believe that they are actually divide the nation between Bangladesh, India, and Myanmar. So if you go to South Bangladesh, Kuki people, they demand for a kind of separate political administration. In Myanmar, they are also fighting the Burmese military rulers. In India, they are demanding Now they are demanding a separate state or maybe separate kind of administration, maybe autonomous council. So
Okay.
it happens, and unfortunately, it will take time to resolve the situation, because once the Meite become ST, if it becomes ST, it will go on, and
Mhm.
Meite people will hardly support any kind of distinct division of the state, because in the Naga movement, lot of
Mhm.
conflict between Nagas and Métis. Now it has turned to Kuki and Métis. So there is a history, there is a legacy, also kind of conflict, and government of India has sometimes overlooked the issues that they could have
Okay.
done in a better way. And
Mhm.
we are still waiting for the Naga Accord. If Naga Accord can be resolved, can be accepted, then many problems of Northeast will be resolved. So we are waiting for actually Naga framework, which come to the public and make some pragmatic initiative to resolve the issues.
So, do you think that government of India has ignored this case as well, because this is happening for last 2 months at least, and the nothing has happened so far?
Yes, government of India, not exactly this government of India, but government of India since maybe 1970, 1980. So
Mhm.
both Congress and BJP at
Okay.
the center, they have somehow ignored Northeast, because
Mhm.
if it is a trouble zone, surrounded by a lot of foreign countries. If you talk about the Tibet, that is now under China, you talk about the Myanmar, is very disturbed kind of nation, is almost civil war in Myanmar, also in
Okay.
Bangladesh. So
Mhm.
also this time, because Bangladesh is going to for election at the end of this year, maybe next year. So we are surrounded by all the foreign countries. So any government in New Delhi, maybe BJP, maybe Congress, maybe other government,
Mhm.
they should think about the region seriously, because we are really a diverse kind of communities. We live in Northeast India, surrounded with very
Mhm.
much foreign countries, and we have foreign elements that working in this part of the country. And sometimes
Okay.
mainland Indians also believe that Northeastern are not Indian. I am look like an Indian, but my friend in Boro or you can Karbi or Meite, Khasi, they look like they are from Mongolian Lu. So they also
Okay.
face the problem in Delhi, Kolkata. Are you from the Northeast? Is there
That's
any
right.
other post office in it? That is
Yes.
there, but Assamese are to some extent we are similar to Bengali, so we are
Mhm.
somehow look as an Indian. But for the
Mhm.
tribal, for the Mongolian people in Northeast, they are often face the problem in mainland India. So that says that Northeast people are not taken care of by government in New Delhi, not because of BJP, Congress, but because of the kind of mentality of kind of Indian mentality, you can say mainland Indian mentality towards the region.
Mhm. Okay, all right. So there is also a question that usually come that such unrest are usually happening in Northeast, whether it is Assam, Nagaland, because last year there have been some dispute between Assam and Meghalaya. So such unrest has always happened, always a part of this problem, especially in Northeast. So what could be the main root of these problems, as per you?
One is definitely land issue, because when the Northeast was formed, the land,
Mm-hmm.
the marking of the borders of states were heavily done, and we have not a
Okay.
valley, we have a hill, then river, the stream, the wetlands. So when you draw the division of states, it was not properly done. So that is why Assam has border problem with Mizoram, then Meghalaya, then Arunachal Pradesh. So this is very unfortunate. We are from the same region, but we are fighting each other. So that is one kind of difficulty we are facing. That the
Mm-hmm.
demarcation of the states was not done properly. That I can say. But now, because all the northeast states somehow ruled by BJP, either supported or directly ruled by BJP, and we have a government in New Delhi as NDA. So they are trying a little bit Assam, Meghalaya, Assam, Arunachal, Assam, Mizoram. They are talking about the border issue, but the problem exists that the land is very very important for us, because people believe that we have our identity, culture, existence belong to the land.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like money. If you ask the tribal people in Mizoram, say I will give you a flat in Delhi or Mumbai, Kolkata. Can you go? He will say, I will not go there because I want to live
Correct.
here. We are because land is connected to the culture. People does not believe. Very people, maybe small amount of people can go outside, but most of the people want
Mhm.
to live here in their own land, in their own people. So community, living is very very strong, supportive each other. So they want to
Mhm.
have their own land that is possessed by their ancestors according to the rule of the law. So the demarcation of the states, and if at all there are some problems, that should be resolved. So government of India has to play a very very pragmatic role.
Which I think is not happening these days. This is what
Happen,
they're,
they are trying, but the result is not so much uh, fruitful.
fulfilled. Right? That's right. So there is also a information which came out some days ago that there have been some agreement between Kuki militants and the BJP leader that you when you will support us will support you after coming in the government. How far this is correct?
No, actually, it came to notice to the public. Even we are not aware of the development.
Hmm.
But some cookie group wrote a letter to Union Home Minister Amit Shah, where they have written, and in one paragraph they say we supported BJP. That is why BJP came to power. Otherwise, BJP has little chance to come to power in Manipur because it was a traditionally Congress rule state.
Okay,
So then they mentioned Ram Madhav, the RSS leader, also
that's right.
Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma as the negotiator. But on record, Himanta Biswa Sharma rejected the allegation. So it may happen, it may not happen. But Kuki people believe that BJP should support them and basically support for a political kind of entity for their own land. And Meite and Kuki has now a political, conflict that Kuki believe that we are deprived of many facilities because the Impal, where the capital is, Impal Valley, where the capital, or everything happened in Impal, and Meite is actually dominating the Impal Valley, so they are deprived of benefits. Otherwise, for long they were together because the militants from Manipur,
Mhm.
they demanded a independent Manipur. When they talk about
Okay.
independent Manipur, inclusive Naga, inclusive Kuki, inclusive Meite. But
It's like a
suddenly,
separate state.
though they believe that Manipur can be independent out of India, so they believe
That's
we
right.
are not Indian. Manipur is a different. So this is the irony of the militancy that they believe that Manipur will be independent, and before it gets
Mhm.
independent, they are not divided in 60 homes. One is Meitei, then Kuki, then Naga. Once you become even independent, suppose Manipur become independent out of India, what they will do? They will fight each other. So this is kind
True.
of relation of the people of Northeast India that fighting government of India will not make a beneficial or it will not fruitful. Better uh, maintain your Indian identity, live with the same kind of status, but get the benefit of all the constitutional clauses that any average Indian can get the advantage. Let's have the same advantage to us in education, in health, in communication, in other infrastructure issues.
So there is also one question that there are infiltration from the different part of the states or the country. Like Myanmar people, a lot of people they are coming from Myanmar to Manipur and the other border states. So they are also creating a problem in the states. Do you think so?
Uh, yes. First thing, we have two neighboring countries, that is Bangladesh
Mm.
and Burma or Myanmar. So a
Yeah.
lot of Bangladeshi people came to Assam. Now they are one of the problematic. That is why Assam Association in 1979 took place. We have a 6 years long movement and Assam Accord signed. Now still Bangladeshi
Mm.
migrant is an issue for Assam. Similarly, in Mizoram and in Manipur, in Nagaland, Burma is an important issue because Burma is in a troubled country. For some time it has a democracy led by a Nobel laureate Aung San Suu Kyi, but since the military ruler more powerful, they are ruling the country for decades, with some gaps. So once, and Burma has also diversity because not people, everyone is Burman or Burmese mainstream. They have also a
Okay.
lot of ethnic tribes. It's similar to Northeast. Kasin, Karen, then Rakhine, then all Chin, not China, but there is a Sin community in Myanmar. So if you say it is logically it is difficult to prove, but I can say at least 50,000 Chin people, Chin Burmese people are still living in Mizoram, because
Okay.
they are from the same clan. They believe that their ancestors are the same, so they support each other. So Sin people, live in Aizor, in Saiha, and we cannot distinguish themselves. They can only distinguish that this is from Burma or this is from India. Then lot of Burmese now in Manipur, because Meitei, some Meiteis are also living in Manipur. Even some Assamese, some Assamese people also live in Myanmar. Some Nagas,
Mhm.
the Kuki, they have the Paite, the Chin, lot of small community. They also live in Myanmar. So you can say when the India and Burma demarcated, that also become tribal, because you have families in Myanmar, you have families
Mhm.
in India. So politically, you are a different nation. I'm a different nation, but we have relationship. We have our own legacy. We have our own kind of legend, very similar. So this is one of the typical problem in Northeast India. It's not like India, Pakistan. It's not like India or Nepal or India, Bhutan. It is very very typical, because same people live either side of the border, and sometimes they does not they don't like the borders. But being Indian, being a country, you are living in a country, we have to follow the guidelines of the center guidelines of the Indianness. So that is one problem where Burma was demarcated from India, and then some villages could have been in Burma, or some villages should have been in India. It never happened, so
Okay,
it
that has not
elongated for
happened.
years.
Yes. Mhm. So there is also an angle which is given, that religious angle, that the fight between Hindus and Christian, because cookies are more into the Christianity, while the Mathis are from Hindus. So is this also correct at some extent,
Uh,
that the
yes,
fight
to
between
some
Hindus
extent,
and Christian?
not exactly Hindu versus Sanatan or Vaishnav versus Christian, but somehow it also influenced the fighting, and that is why the sources were targeted. That is temple were targeted. Otherwise, if there is a people to people conflict, some
Hmm.
household, some private houses were burned, because the sources were burned, or temples were targeted. So there are religious angle, or maybe inciting. Yes, there may be some elements try to make it Hindu versus a Christian, but sizable
That's right.
population of Meitei are Hindu, definitely Vaishnav, and sizable population of Kukis are actually Christian. So there are division among them.
But the numbers which government has issued, in which it is stated that around 50,000 or even more Mathis have been displaced from their houses, and they are bound to live in the shelter which is being prepared by the government of Manipur.
Nearly 100 people died. We say around 100, 15 to 120 people died from both the groups, both the sides. Then lot of around 9,000 private houses, then even school, even some government offices, then sources, religious places like temple, all
Hmm.
were destroyed. So around 50 to 60 some people rendered homeless, and it's
That's
difficult.
right.
They come back to their own villages, so it will take time to resolve the situation.
And mostly they are from Maiti communities. What it is said on social media and the media, a section of media also.
I know also from Cookie, because I say Meite's media is very active. Many Meite people live in Impol. They have more access to the media. Even Meite activists made press conference in Delhi as well. So they are
Okay.
more articulate. They have spread
Mhm.
the message. But Meite is a larger people. They are around 60% population of Manipur as Meite. Cookie have around maybe 20, maybe 25. So lesser number of Cookie maybe, but also it's a sizable population for their own community.
On community. So, Mr. Katoria, with the hope that things would settle immediately, and the violence has to be removed, on urgent basis by the government of India. All stakeholders should stay together. They should protect each other. And thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.